Women Making Moves, where we celebrate the moves that women are making. My name is Amy Pons. I'm a Master Certified Life Coach and an energy healer. I'm joined today with Salomie Chung. Salomie is a dynamic force in the world of business, renowned as a business longevity strategist, author, speaker, professor, inventor, and podcast host. With a career spanning diverse fields, Salomie has not only excelled in each role, but has also become a guiding light for those seeking enduring success in the fast-paced business landscape. Salomie's multifaceted career is a testament to her dedication to the principles of business longevity. As a business longevity strategist, author, speaker, professor, inventor, and podcast host, she embodies the essence of a modern business leader who not only adapts to change, but actively shapes and influences the future. In a world where success is often measured by immediate gains, Salomie stands out as a beacon, guiding individuals and organizations towards sustained and meaningful success. Salomie, welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow. That introduction was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. I love what you're saying about business in general, business longevity. One of the things that I feel as I call myself, I'm a 20-year corporate graduate. So I spent the first 20 years of my life in corporate marketing in the corporate world. And by all means, historical means, I reached success, big titles, big money. And what was aching within me was the lack of humanity, where we've gotten to where what I feel is more in the toxic masculine, which is only caring about the order, the structure, the power, the money, and what I've come to realize like vanity metrics. So it's been an interesting world for me to usher back in the divine feminine of creation, trusting flow, believing humanity, and also operating in a world that still requires us to have money to live day to day, right? So that really spoke to me the way that you said it gets to be both. We still need to make money, and we can do it in a humane way.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a colleague maybe a couple weeks ago, and we spoke about the same thing, about the divine feminine. And it has always been looked at as a negative. And if you really, I believe the divine feminine gives women power that they haven't yet learned how to tap into. And I think if they can tap into that, then they bring so much more to the table. And that which they bring to the table, no one else can bring. I call it the feminine mystique. I believe there's a book titled The Feminine Mystique. But I believe what we have is unexplainable, and only us can bring that to the table. So it is a shame that women have been kind of programmed to become more masculine rather than just reside in their femininity and use the power that gives them.
You're so right. It is true innate magic. Mm-hmm. And in my experience, the divine feminine, a lot of people will be like, oh, that's woo-woo.
Yes.
Well, the magic, the power, of course, there's fear there from people that don't understand it. They're very easy to think about either not real, but also the unknown. There's actual very real truth and research and science showing that in the life force and vitality of women in the womb space, whether you bear children or not, I have a womb space, I choose not to have children, and that's where my power resides, meaning that's really where I tap into Gaia, Mother Earth, but also into the cosmos. Oh, and by the way, I've been in corporate business and can knock the socks off the most staunch business people in the world. All of that gets to be true. And for me, what I now help other women and men, frankly, because the divine feminine, divine masculine is not specific to gender. It's allowing you to tap into those really incredible divine natures that we all have in us from an indigenous nature, where in the feminine, it's creation. And in the masculine, it's having that support structure to be able to release it into the world. When those balance together, that's actually the most successful way. And by the way, nature already has this. Nature shows us how to do this. And as humans, we want to over-engineer it and just do all the things. So it's really beautiful when those come into balance.
It does. Part of what I teach in my business is in line with what you do. And it's not a new approach, but people tend to look at it as being woo-woo.
New age.
Yeah. And you're correct. It's not women that has that power, that insight, that ability to tap into that feminine side. It's just that they haven't bothered to harness it because it's viewed as being soft. We can't have someone in the boardroom that's going to get up there and talk about soft skills or let's try doing this instead of doing that. You can't have people in the boardroom with that essence. But I feel that it is a big part of what I do. And the challenge, Amy, is to really make it mainstream because I think what we're talking about is going to be that one thing that makes businesses rise above their competition. Because imagine if you tap into your intuition, whether it's innate or is something that you learn. It's one of the things I can teach people how to do. Whether you do that, imagine if you can harness that power and then you can use what you learned through that to create solutions, to come up with amazing discoveries that only you alone can do because these are coming from you. Nobody else has your power. And that's the power of this skill is that only you alone possess that power and only you alone can provide those insights because everybody's brain, gut feeling, intuition is different. So imagine if you can do that and then combine it with create solutions, you will be forever ahead of the game because nobody else has that. So imagine if you as a business owner can do that for yourself, what a powerful force you will be.
That's where my clients find me as a coach. When I show up fully for myself, I trust myself so much in the value that I bring uniquely into this world. It's my unique brilliance. No one can do what I
What
do the
you
way I
can
do it.
do, yeah.
No one can do it. So I don't have any competition. It's me and it's the rapport that I build.
Can you say that again? I have no competition.
I have no competition.
Competition. And if you as a business owner can switch your mindset, I have no competition. If I use the correct tools and trust them, I have no competition. Very well said.
And that's what's exciting to me. And to your point, I love what you're saying because I'm a person, I'm not out here ever telling everyone, yeah, y'all need to leave corporate. No, it's up to you. It's never about my agenda. My clients come to me because they've reached a point in their business life, and it doesn't have to be corporate. They've reached a point in their 9 to 5 where they feel that it no longer feels good, not just good, but like tolerable to subscribe to the copy paste culture in which the workplace was created by white men, for the benefit of more white men 100 years ago. Anyone that doesn't fit into that, they're like, I don't want to copy paste. I want to be me. And depending on where you are in the 9 to 5, that may start to go down a path where it hurts your well-being because we go down a path of performance action plans, or like you get disciplined because you're not showing up as the person that maybe your boss wants you to show up as, and that starts to become a problem and that doesn't feel good. So it's always an and for me, like especially with my clients, it's like I live in the world of duality. We today, as of today, yes, to pay our bills, to have the basic needs in life, food, shelter, we need to have money. Yes, yes. And human dignity and expressing your unique brilliance, I believe, should also be a pillar in how you earn a living. And
Mhm.
so I meet my clients where they're at and say, what does this look like for you? How can you be able to do this so that you can build that psychological safety at the bare minimum, and like at the bare maximum, you get to just change the damn game as it relates to your unique thought that is able to implement and drive business into the world that none of us have lived in before.
Yeah, it's a new realm of integrity. What are
Yeah.
you willing to do for money? And yes, you are exactly correct. We do need money because the system is what it is,
Yeah.
and we need money to survive. How far are we willing to go for money? How far are we willing to go as far as cutting other people down? It's amazing what I see in business today. You oftentimes get people in conversations that say, I want to collaborate with you. I want to build a relationship with you. But what does that really mean? How genuine is that? It really comes down to how much should you be watching your back? And that's a sad state of affairs in business. It's kind of like cultivating a new friend. It's not something that happens overnight. And I find that in today's business culture, business owners, especially new business owners, people are new to business, get into, I don't want to say they get into relationships too quickly, but they want everything done so quickly and they want success so quickly. They're not as selective about who they welcome into their space. And I don't think that nowadays, because of the quickness of the whole where everything is going at lightning speed, and so the mentality is to have everything quickly, I don't think people are being taught or have learned that success takes time. Of course, we have those unicorns that they hit lightning in a bottle and it happens overnight, but that's not the norm. It's like your mother always says, good things don't come easy. So you have to be careful about who you bring into your space. And I'm sure you've been burned, I've been burned. Who are you collaborating with? Who can you trust? Go back to the know, like, and trust, the pillar of building a successful business. Are you really paying attention? It's really back to the basics, Amy. And people are, they feel they can jump from A to Z rather than follow the steps.
For me, I feel like I am one of those rare unicorns, not in the fact that I've hit lightning in a bottle. It's more about the fact that I have this really unique skill set where I have the 20 years of more patriarchal, capitalistic corporate experience. And that's what I unsubscribed from. But at the same time, I have earned accreditations and skill sets as a professional coach. And I also sit at a really unique intersection and crossroads of intersectional feminism. So for all women, I'm making sure that we understand what that looks like. This is where Women Making Moves came from. But then also from a workplace psychological safety perspective, coaching people to understand what is their unique threshold, because I can't tell you what that is, and I can't tell you what time it is. It's really up to that person. And additionally, what we do when someone's in my orbit or in my unique space is that everything is energy. Everything is an energetic exchange. So I love what you said about being mindful of who it's actually people, places, and things in which may not be an energetic match for you. And I help guide people to understand what that might look like for them. So turning inward and feeling how your body feels, that's an intuition. Our bodies already know. Our bodies actually know before we even approach a person, is that going to be an energetic match? Yes or no? And we tend to override it as humans because we're like, I'll figure it out.
That's where the intuition piece comes in. Our body, our psyche, our brain is telling us run. You speak about people, places, and things because we think it's great. We're like, I don't want to hear that. This looks really great. I'm gonna go with it. And oftentimes ends in disaster. But you're perfectly right. We all have the skill. I often tell the story where I'm driving in a car that this is a true story. I'm driving in a car down the street, and as I approach the intersection, a voice in my head says, "Don't go, don't do that." And in the split second that I did that, someone hit me. So it might seem frou-frou, not important in the bigger scheme of things. It might seem silly, but it's a perfect example of not listening to what that voice in your head is telling you every single second of every hour of every day.
Literally every single second. And by the way, I was one of those people. My soul was sleeping for a long time because I was only interested in running on autopilot and doing the only being in the human experience. And I will tell you that again, 10 years ago, I thought I had made it, big success, titles, money, things like that. I will also share with you my world got infinitely bigger the moment I started to hear from my soul essence and whoever you feel like is bigger than you, whether it's Mother Earth, universe, source, creator, God. They're talking to us all the time. Like I always share, like they'll ring your doorbell. I will put a challenge out there right now. I want to find someone, tell me that you haven't had something seemingly quote unquote out of nowhere, right? Something happened. It was so weird. This just came out of nowhere. I'd be like, huh, is that true? Did it come out of nowhere? That is whoever's trying to get your attention ringing your doorbell. And those are such beautiful glimmers. And that's actually the roadmap for you reaching that infinite human experience when you're able to embody both. So anyway, woo or not, frou or not, allow yourself to listen to those by any degree. It feels like pure magic.
To segue on back of that, I will also pose a question. What would you tell someone, anyone, a prospect, a potential client, a friend, what would you tell them they need to do if everything they've tried, everything they've done, all the hard work they've put in, and I get this question a lot, nothing is coming to fruition, nothing's happening. And this is where people tend to give up. I'm going to tell you what I think, but I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on that are. What would you tell someone who's in that position based on what we're
Oh, yes.
discussing?
Oh, yes. So, as I stated at the beginning of the hour, I'm an energy healer. And what's interesting, Salomie, I'm going to give you a fun little analogy. Oftentimes, and again, you could be not at all connected to anything outside of you, any energy outside of you, and you can have all the things. There's still, I'll give a spectrum. So someone that is only in the flat-footed science, fact-based research kind of a vibe here in the human experience, they might set a goal for themselves that, let's say they want to advance somehow, whether it be in their career, personal life, etc., later this year. And to your point, they set that goal. And then later year comes and they didn't achieve what they set out to do. And then I'm going to go to a completely other end of the woo spectrum, which is like totally tapped into their spirit guides or universe or that higher power, that other energy. They set intentions. So in both cases, what I start with is what is the energy in which you set that goal or that intention with? Here's why. Let's say that in life, it's like a fast food drive-through window. You go up and you order at the microphone, and then you get to the window and it's like, that's not what I ordered. In this case, for the person that set a goal and didn't feel like they achieved it, I want to go back to the microphone and say, what did you order? What was the energy in which you set that goal with? Was it really to get that promotion or that money? Or was it that you wanted to do something with that promotion or money, or it was getting you to another bigger goal? What is it that you truly want to do? Same thing with someone that's very in tune with spiritual practice. What intentions are you setting with energy? So for instance, again, someone will say like, I want more money. Is that true? Or is it that, do you want more freedom? Do you want to be able to buy a new home? Do you want to be able, like, what do you truly want? If you're wanting to make more money to put more good out into the world, that is amazingly clean energy. If you're wanting to make more money to be able to exert power over someone else, that's not a clean mark of energy. So
You hit the nail on the head. So happy you spoke about the intention. Because a lot of times when we're in that space where nothing's happening and you feel rejected in your journey, you feel rejected, you feel as if you have not the support, et cetera, et cetera. And then you set your intention is, well, I'm going to show them. That is the energy that you don't want to be in because
right.
and oftentimes that's the energy people are in because
Yes.
it's human nature.
You want to prove someone wrong. And
Exactly.
I will share with people, I'm like, I hear you so much. And that is solely in the human experience. When you take the external energy out of your intention setting, you will be shocked and amazed about what you're able to call in. It's both that simple and that hard because we are human.
This is so true. And I had the thought, I can't believe you just said that because sometimes it's so innate in people who are in business because the driving factor is you didn't believe in me, I'm going to show you. And until and unless your intention, as you stated, becomes more pure, my manifestation is I want to be able to help kids who are in need, or I want to volunteer, or I want to go help stop human trafficking, or whatever. Give me the resources to be able to make a difference in the world as a overall overarching manifestation. Then I think everything starts to switch. But when you are in that space where all you can think about, I'm so angry, I'm going to show them. And when I get success, I'm going to flaunt it. Everybody's going to see what I've achieved. It doesn't translate.
And I personally ladder up to universe. So like I co-create with the stars. The universe only understands when I speak what I do want. So for instance, like I want more money so that I can feel free month over month when I go to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my genuine intention. And oh, by the way, I earn a living by helping guide individuals and raise the vibration of the larger collective. That's amazing.
And don't be afraid of manifesting money. Just be
No.
careful what you're manifesting it for.
Right.
The other comment I would make is when people ask me that question is, I often said, and in my own life, I've proven this. No matter how simple and how trivial it may seem, a lot of times when you have a plan and a strategy and it's what you've mapped out and it's not working out, it's not what's meant for you.
Exactly. And I
It's
think that's
just
hard too.
not what was meant for you, and it's hard for people to accept it. Just let it be. I always say, when I don't know what to do, I do nothing.
Yeah.
When I don't know what to do, I've tried everything and nothing works. When I don't know what to do, I do nothing. And I leave it up to the universe.
Same.
Whether it's the universe, God knows what my intentions are.
Yeah.
I just leave it up to them to bring it into being.
Mhm. Yeah, we're calling it in. We become a
Yeah.
magnet.
Right.
So amazing. And again, you liked an episode of a previous guest on my podcast, and this is how we became connected. And so the universe is beautifully putting us together.
Aligning.
What moves are you excited to be making right now, Salome?
Oh my goodness. I'm excited to be meeting people like you because I think it's really about the real relationships that you create. And the moves I'm excited about creating is meeting the people who are going to help me to reach I won't say goals, but the intentions I've been setting. I want to be able to, like you, just be financially free so that I can do the things that I believe is going to make the most difference in the world. That is my overarching intention. I want to be able to do the things or that one thing that's going to make the most difference in the world. So, whoever is in my orbit that can help me with those intentions or aligned with me in that intention, those are the moves that I'm excited about making.
The new way of doing business is through magnetism, attraction, alignment, energetic matches.
Mhm.
And again, if I went to my Fortune 200 and said this, they'd be like, what on earth are you talking about? So I want to go to a post that you made recently on LinkedIn that stood out to me, and it actually really aligns with what we've been talking
Really?
about. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's a repost from Paul Carrick Brunson. The post is, you stand out where you are not expected. People instantly want to know why you're there and how it's going to impact them. This seems like what we've just been talking about as it relates to connection and relationships. So talk me through this post and what you were feeling.
Well, the post pushed me to respond because I'm a follower of his. He's a relationship guy. He's like one of those people that do married at first sight. He's like a consultant. But his story is he left his corporate job. He had no money. His wife used her retirement to fund his dream. And he said a client of his introduced him to Oprah, was looking for new talent. And that's what launched him. But just to give you a background of Paul Carrick Brunson, but the post he made was to get noticed, you must go where there aren't people like you. So, in other words, you can't keep going into for me, you can't go into a room crowded with longevity strategists. How are you going to stand out? You have to go where you're needed, where people don't know about what you offer. And he says he had that experience when he went to, I forget which African country it was. And people were so excited to see him because they had not had someone with his experience. So that was what his post was about. And I was moved to respond in that way. You know, when you go somewhere, people don't know who you are. They want to know who you are, and more importantly, what you can do for them. That's the key part. What can you do for me? And I've been moved of late to wherever I am and whatever I do. It's not about who I am. It's not about that I wrote a book. It's not about that how many degrees I have. It's how can I help you? How can I be of service to you? Because I believe in being of service, it will always come back to you.
I agree. That's why I like to poke the bear a little bit over on LinkedIn because that's the space that I play in the most because
Yeah.
I'm an awakened, enlightened soul that has 20 years corporate experience. And so I walk the line. And oftentimes the people that feel the most resonant with what I'm saying or talking about are those that are feeling that pinch and again, feel stuck between the paycheck and what they might be called to
Should
do with
be
their
doing.
soul.
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh, what do I do with this? And it doesn't mean like I literally walked in one day and I said, today's my last day. I don't suggest everyone do that. But what I do suggest is that you work with someone like you or me to figure out, like I know you're on the business strategist front, I'm on the individual front. So like working with someone who understands that there's somewhere you're trying to meet yourself in the middle because you do want to keep the quote unquote safety security of what a 9 to 5 might bring, but it's offering that safe container to be able to explore without having to uproot anything right away. And the skill of active listening and being able to extract key nuggets and those key moments of magic from people are what is most astonishing to people I serve because they're like, holy shnikes, like how did we get here? I'm like,
Yeah.
you
Where
have
did
this,
that come from? Did that come from me?
yeah, they have this already. And it's just, for me, it's me bearing witness to be able to, again, read and sense their energy, telling me where to go and to extract those key elements so they can get there.
Yeah.
And I've found, especially from my personal experience, I didn't have the space to do that when I was in my corporate job. So it's totally meeting them where they are and letting them play a little bit and go to the places where maybe everyone outside of themselves is judging what they might want to do or feel.
Mm-hmm.
And we go there.
Yeah, I often, when I'm in a business, whether it's a networking event or a forum, and they say, well, what do you have? What's your offer? And I will say, give me 30 minutes and I'll give you a strategy that is guaranteed to change your business. And people look at me like I'm crazy, but there is that word guarantee. So give me 30 minutes of your time. And sometimes I'll be in a networking room with people, and my brain is already figuring out how could I help that person, that person, that person, that person. The key is, though, the challenge oftentimes is presenting because what you and I do, and maybe that's not your experience, because we're more soul centered people, so to speak. We're so giving, we tend to forget we need to take sometimes because after all, we're running a business. So it's a fine line between how I serve you and also how you can serve me. So,
Right. I don't really vibe with the word need because that comes from like a lack space, but I always say like coaches want coaches because it's nice sometimes to have someone extract from me like what might be inside of me that my ego is going to block potentially. And so it's just all about extracting that. It's funny. I do feel that way. And like what I'll say to people, like, what do you offer? I'm like, I unlock your magic. And they're like,
Yeah.
what? They're like,
Okay.
what? And so,
That's a powerful statement right away. People will think, go back to Paul Carrick Brunson, is people think I have magic. Okay.
yeah,
I want to know what my magic is.
right? Like, of
Um,
course you have magic. Of
yeah,
course
I
you
want to
do.
know if there is magic, even if they don't believe you, they want to know if there is magic. So,
Mhm.
so that is an awesome observation right there.
So, Salome, what would you say to, and I'll use what you just shared about your offer, what you offer in 30 minutes, you'll be able to come up with someone's like a guaranteed long-term business plan. What would you say to people that both understand that, but also might doubt that? Do you school them pretty quickly, or from an energetic place, do you say, okay, they're not able to hear me right now, and you keep it moving? Like, what would you say?
Well, for someone who is a little reticent, I would say if you're doubting that I would put my money where my mouth is, why don't you give me a chance? 30 minutes of your time, maybe that 30-minute investment, maybe that thing that revolutionizes your business. Are you willing to make that 30-minute investment? That is what I would say. Because in that 30 minutes, even if you don't believe that what I'm sharing with you will revolutionize your business, you will have learned something. And oftentimes people negate it because they don't want to pay for it. See what I'm saying? So they will come into the space, they want to hear what you have to offer. Remember, I'm offering the 30 minutes for free. It's not that I'm charging you. So it's not costing you anything. But imagine the impact that would have on your business, is what I would say.
Awesome. Salome, where can we find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn typically. You can find me on YouTube. My podcast is The School of Small Business, and I would extend an invitation for you to come on and let us teach the business collective some different approaches about how to get the most out of their business. I am also on Facebook as Salomie Chung, on Instagram as Salomie Chung. You can email me, salome@salomiechung.com.
Closing remarks as we start to wrap up.
Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to tap into your inner voice. If your inner voice is telling you something, do not be afraid to listen to it. And I will tell you, 99.9% of the time, if you neglect to listen to that inner voice, you will pay the price, you will regret it, whether it's in a small way or a large way. That inner voice is a powerful thing. I will put a challenge out there. For the next 30 days, listen to that inner voice and write it down, listen to it, and follow the path of what that inner voice tells you. And then be cognizant of the result or lack thereof. Your inner voice is your direction. Don't ignore it.
Thanks, Salome.
Thank you, Amy, for having me on. Let's continue the conversation.